Inflation. Inflation means steady increase in the price level. Too much of money chasing too few goods. The definition given by the Cole Born about the inflation. And the Gregor he said, a state of abnormal decrease in the quantity of purchasing power only known as the inflation. Okay, now we will see what are the types of inflation. On the basis of its speed, we are categorizing it as a creeping inflation, walking inflation, running inflation and galloping inflation. The galloping inflation it is known as a hyperinflation. What is the creeping inflation? Creeping inflation, it is the slow moving and very mild. The rise in prices will not be perceptible but spread over a long period. Walking inflation, when prices rise moderately and the annual inflation rate is a single digit. Okay, it is known as the walking or trolling inflation. Running inflation, when prices rise rapidly like the running of a horse at a rate of speed of 10% to 20% per annum, it is known as the running inflation. Galloping or the hyperinflation, here the inflation, that means the price level, it increase into 2 or 3 digits. That means the high inflation, the percentage, it will be in the 20 to 100 percentage. Next, demand pull versus cost push inflation. Demand pull inflation. Demand and supply play a crucial role in deciding the inflation levels in the society at all points of time. If the demand is high for a product and supply is low, the price of the products are increases. Demand pull inflations are too much of money chasing only the too few goods. Cost push inflation. When the cost of raw materials and other inputs rises, inflation it results. Increases in wages paid to labor also leads to inflation. On the basis of investment, the inflation it is classified into 6. Currency inflation, credit inflation, deficit-induced inflation, profit-induced inflation, scarcity-induced inflation and tax-induced inflation. Currency inflation, the excess supply of money in circulation causes the rise in the price level. Credit inflation, when the banks are liberal in lending credit, the money supply increases and thereby rising the prices. Deficit-induced. The deficit budget is generally financed through printing of currency by the central bank. As a result, definitely the prices it will rise. Profit induced. When the firms aim at higher profit, they fix the price with a higher margin, so prices it will go up. Scarcity of goods happens either due to fall in production or due to the hoarding and black marketing. This also pushes up the price. Increase in indirect taxes like excess duty, custom duty and sales tax, it also lead to rise in price. What were the causes of inflation? Increase in money supply. When the inflation it caused by an increase in the supply of money leads to the increase in aggregate demand. Increase in disposable income. This is also one of the cause of the inflation. When the disposable income of the people increases, it raises the demand for goods and services. Increase in public expenditure is the another cause. Government activities, it have been expanding due to developmental activities and social welfare programs. It also caused for the price rise. The demand for goods and services increases when they are given credit to buy goods on higher purchase and installment basis. This is the increase in consumer spending. Due to this cause the inflation it will occur. Cheap money policy or the policy of credit expansion also leads to increase in the money supply, which raises the demand for goods and services in the economy. Deficit financing. In order to meet its mounting expenses, the government resorts to deficit financing by borrowing from the public and even by printing more notes. Black assets, activities and money. the existence of black money and black assets due to corruption, tax evasion, increase the aggregate demand. Repayment of public debt. Whenever the government repays its past internal debt to the public, it leads to the increase in the money supply. Increase in export decreases the domestic supply of goods. So prices will rise. Next one is the trade cycle. The economic activity in a capitalist economy will have its periodic ups and downs. The study of these ups and downs, it is called as the study of business cycle or trade cycle. A trade cycle, it is a composed of periods of good trade characterized by rising prices and low employment percentages, altering with periods of bad trade characterized by falling prices and high unemployment percentages. This definition is given by J.M. Keynes about the trade cycle. What were the phases of trade cycle? There were four phases: boom, recession, depression and recovery. Boom or prosperity phase. The full employment and the movement of the economy beyond full employment is characterized as boom period. During this period, there is a hectic activity in economy. Money wages rise, profits increase and interest rates goes up. The demand for bank credit increases and there is all around optimism. Recession. The turning point from boom condition is called recession. This happens at a higher rate than what was earlier. Investments are drastically reduced. Production comes down and income and profits decline. Liquidity preference of the people rises and money market becomes tight. During depression, the level of economic activity becomes extremely low. Firms faces losses and closure of business becomes a common feature and the ultimate result is unemployment. Interest prices, profits and wages are low. The agricultural class and wage earners would be worst hit. Extreme point of depression is called as trough. Keynes advocated that autonomous investment of the government alone can help the economy to come out from the depression. Recovery. It begins with the revival of demand for capital goods. Autonomous investments boost the activity. The demand slowly picks their arises. More production, profit, income, wages and employment. Recovery may be initiated by innovation or investment or by government expenditure. Thank you, kids.